OpenEdX is releasing new software versions each year, about
twice in a year.
Twice in a year, even.
Yes.
Okay. So how do you make sure that the customers, so you do a lot of customization for the customers. How do you make sure that the customer's code basically stays updatable? I worked in a company years ago where we didn't do that, and that was a complete disaster. So I know this can be very, very hard.
Yeah. So basically, what do? We have a I think also is a philosophy in our company, because we know open source solution, I would say, pretty well. And open source solution means that around the world there are thousands of developers that helps to improve one solution, like OpenEdX, but there is so many open source example like that. And so we know that the work done outside should fit with was it inside, which is the OpenEdX solution, the software. And the software itself is another ecosystem with a lot of other open source pieces inside, like MySQL or anything else there. So basically, we learn a lot that we never should fork the solution and go alone with that. Like a snake, that it takes another direction. So basically, we try to build around the solution to keep it native as much as possible. If not possible, to document the changes very well, and then to approach all the changes building plugin around it, which is also the philosophy of OpenEdX at the moment. Maybe in the past it was less. They build a big core, and now we are chunking out the system so that we have a smaller piece inside, and we build around a lot of plugin that you can adjust, you can migrate it easily, you can manage it easily, and you can understand it also. If someone else it take over, it can understand it better. So we have this approach. The other approach, of course, is that we looked. So we have one member of our team, which is a member of a working group in the OpenEdX ecosystem, which is called the Build, Test, and Release working group. And in this group, we look in advance what is happening with the software. So we have an overview if we need to do, for example, a customization for our client. We know in advance if this customization is coming from the community, so that we can work with the community or taking from there and communicate this also with the client and address this information like we can wait, we can do it in the same way, we contribute with the community. So working with this member there, we know in advance a lot of information that help us in the process, I would say. So to be a core contributors and part of the open source community, we think is important. It's a philosophy as well of the company, of course, but this helps us a lot as well.
And maybe as a follow-up question, so sometimes you are developing something for a customer and that you think that might be interesting, not just for our customer, that might be a good solution for everybody, actually. So how do you promote those custom developments that you do for some customers to the core or to the main project, to the upstream, as
yes. Basically, the philosophy of open source is always to share back something that has been done. The problem is that in many cases, the solution for your client is so specific that nobody wants to have.
It's also quite hard to to keep an overview on what is going on. I mean, you're not the only ones that are working or developing on the OpenEdX platform. There's lots of actors, as you said, all over the world, and basically not to invent the same stuff in many different places and then have concurring plugins or whatever that I guess is also quite a task to accomplish.
It's challenging, and indeed at the end, for example, to build a small plugin that do something for the client, let's say it takes 2 days. You will never go out and asking, you do it. Okay, probably many other clients will need it, but you do it because it's 2 days of work and it's done and the client is happy. So this is what happens. But the other way is the freedom of open source. You can manage the project and the client cover the needs in short of the time. So is a pros and cons in both, but ideally, back to communication. If there is a lot of communication, it helps, and I think for particular bigger ideas, if the community is participate to collect this information, what is an let's say approach that we are increasing how to do this, it will help a lot the service provider like we are, as the client or the institution like you. Many smaller clients maybe have completely different approach, but institution, university, NGOs, all of them have very, very, very similar needs.
What is your Abstract's position on automated software testing? So are you working test-driven? Are you writing software tests? Are you saying, well, we don't need that.
We need it. We need it. It's mandatory. I would say that OpenEdX has a range of automated tests integrated with its core code base. That's a good, a very good point. So OpenEdX delivers include unit tests, integration tests, end-to-end tests. So to validate features, functionality, stability of that. Of course, you can always improve this part. Always. In each open source project, there is this problem to increase the test because they are needed. What we do from our side, we develop using continuous integration. So we take a lot of care and time to prepare the continuous integration so that always it runs using the test, so that it never pushed without a green check of all the tests that are behind. So these allow us to have, let's say, to do not introduce errors in the code we are delivering or maintaining, of course. Another let's say established framework that we have in place internally is JavaScript-based end-to-end test to help us to test faster the front end, which is also needed. We tend to have the idea of software test only in the back end, but we realize that a complex software like OpenEdX with a lot of different systems that work together, when we deliver it to the clients or when we change something to the client, something can be broken. So we need also test on the browser side. And so over the years, we develop an end-to-end test framework to work like that. Also, manual testing is important. We also ask, and we do it a lot, just go on the platform, click everywhere, because this is what the user do. And we also need a user perspective in testing it, and not only the code quality. The code quality is the basis, but on the other side, we believe that also the users should not have a bad experience using the platform.
Yeah, in the end, the test framework is not the user of the platform. So
Exactly.
just having the tests right doesn't mean that the user actually is able to work with it. So
Exactly. So you see that in our company, we really try to have also this practical view on things and not only focus on coding, but have a practical approach, to the user on the other side, because the most happiness we receive is when we know that the users are using the platform, they are happy with that, they go back to the platform, and if they do it, our client is happy as well. So everything is connected to everything, also that.
Okay, just one final question.
Yes.
Are you hiring, or when you're hiring, if you're hiring, what are you looking for when you're looking for new employees, particularly if you're looking for software developers, software engineers in that area? What are the skills that they have to bring with them?
Empathic people. Well, the most requested skills in our company are Python developer, indeed. Not only Python, so ideally Django framework is a Python-based framework. If they have the additional knowledge in Python and Django with Python, this is a good.
Thanks a lot, Stefania. It was great talking to you. It was a real pleasure to have you here.